It's been a while since I've made a video related to gender, but I was actually asked if I would do a video in response to the bathroom bills. So if you haven't heard, which I'm sure most people have heard by now, places like North Carolina and I believe a specific city in Mississippi, Oxford, they're writing into their laws this ludicrous and extremely transphobic legislation, and I forgot what I was watching, but somebody just said that really ultra conservative people, really just hateful people, want to codify discrimination and make people feel ashamed or guilty for being LGBT or Q. But it's like they're working down a list. And now that marriage equality is the law of the land in the United States, this is just the next thing, since there's been more visibility of the transgender community. So I'm trans. I've been transitioning since college, so it's been many years, and I've been like taking hormones, and my quality of life has definitely improved. But this is not really about me. I wanted to tackle this nonsense. So I live in Texas, and I use the ladies' room. In fact, there's a city just north of here. I saw something on Facebook. A sheriff from this town. I think it was Denton. It's a college town, but I understand that the sheriff said something like, if he finds a trans woman in the same restroom as his daughter, he would knock them to the floor, which is, just inciting violence towards trans women, which is pretty shitty, considering how it's pretty rough for trans people, especially trans women in Texas, where there's very little access to medical and legal means by which to transition. So not only is there not a path, there's just all this discrimination and misunderstanding and just this really hostile culture for people like myself. But that being said, I better not go over there because, I don't know, nobody knows my business. Nobody knows I'm trans until I tell them. And I mean, I think there are lots and lots and lots of transgender women like that, and men, where, we never get questioned or stopped, because of what genitalia we may or may not have, or how we pee. Like, it's kind of just ridiculous. So there was, this legislation basically says that you go to the restroom based on your birth sex, based with what was printed on your birth certificate. And transgender people do follow a process, or many of us do try to switch our birth certificates to reflect our lived reality. But each state has different laws regarding these changes, and it's very difficult. In Texas, for example, I believe you have to have had reassignment surgery, which is tens of thousands of dollars, and most insurance does not cover it. So that is to say, our birth certificates largely do not match who we are by name and by gender marker. But according to the laws in these places, that we need to go to, like, I would need to, under this law, I would be required to use the men's room in the state of North Carolina, or in Oxford, Mississippi, or in Denton, Texas, or whatever. That law says that I belong in a men's room. I haven't gone to a men's room in like a decade. Like, it's kind of like, it's hard to wrap my head around, because that's just, I don't know. It would be very contrived. I have to think about it, because I just do not do that, and I haven't for years. And there are many trans men who have spoken out as well, and these are men, people with lower voices and beards, and that wear a certain type of clothes, or hold themselves in a certain type of way. Trans men, they're men. They just happen to be assigned female at birth. Yeah. And so this law says that those men belong in the women's room. So there's many ways that this is kind of bizarre. The reason why this exists, or the reason that people are arguing for this legislation, is to prevent rape and sexual assault. And basically they think that trans women are men, and that we just wear dresses or dress as women so that we can get into the ladies' room and harass women, possibly sexually assault or whatever. So I've never sexually assaulted anyone, and I think maybe somewhere some trans person might be kind of creepy like that. But the fact of the matter is that this legislation is there's no documented situation in which a trans woman has raped or sexually assaulted a woman in a public restroom. That's a made-up fear. That doesn't exist. And furthermore, I just want to say that me going to a men's room is more likely to put me in danger than, if I go to a ladies' room. I'm not going to put anybody in danger. I'm just there to, do what I need to, and, maybe look at myself in the mirror, and, I don't know, whatever. I just go in and go out. Why does anyone else go to the restroom? So there's that. But also, they're trying to say that trans women are men. And this is problematic. I actually have a little aid here that I want to use. But before I say that, it's confounding, this law, because they're trying to keep men out of ladies' rooms whenever what the law says is for trans men, that trans men can't be in the men's room. Trans men, by this law, have to go to the ladies' room. So, in trying to prevent men from being in ladies' rooms, it mandates, it codifies that men go into ladies' rooms. Trust me, trans men do not want to go to the ladies' room. None of them do. Do I want to go to a men's room? Not really. I think I would probably be looked at, and it would not be comfortable for me. But